So first question is about the parliamentary systems of government in India and the UK seem to be converging as well as diverging. Seem to be same and dissimilar. Convergence means similar, divergence means dissimilar. Highlight the key points of convergence and divergence. Very easy, expected questions, we know this. So what are the common points with respect to UK and India? What are the dissimilar factors, divergence factors with respect to India and UK? This is what we have to read from this. So first question, just you have to remember key points. So what are the key points? For example, rules of parliamentary proceedings is same. Neutrality of speaker, in both the speaker is neutral. He will be voting when there is a requirement. When there is balance, then only the speaker will come and give his vote. Same thing. Cabinet has the real executive there. Here, cabinet has the real executive at both the places. Position of the president is mere a dignitary post. There also there is a hereditary monarch, but he is also just a de jure. De jure means not real ruler, a fact, a factual, just a ruler, that's a de jure, who doesn't have any real power. That is also common. Two dominant parties at center. See, current affairs here. There are also two parties. What are the two parties there? Dominant, one is Labour Party, other is Conservative Party. What are the, nowadays we have two dominant parties in India as well, like Congress and BJP. So in this way both are converging. Similarities. What are the similarities? These are the converging factors with respect to Indian parliamentary system and United Kingdom parliamentary system. Those points we have to mention. Only headings we have to remember. Then what are the divergences? They are divergent. Number one, Indian president is a republic person, whereas constitutional monarch is not a republic person. Means head of the state is elected, that is called as republic. India is republic, but UK is not republic. UK is constitutional monarch. First difference. Second difference, what? Second difference. Here Rajya Sabha, it is the representatives of the state. There the lower body, where two bodies are there, one is called as House of Commons, other is called as House of Lords. You will come to know, but as of now, House of Lords and House of Commons. House of Lords means upper house. Here House of Elders is called as Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha are the representatives of the states, but here the House of Lords is not the representatives of the state. Number two, yes or no? We have Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Here also we have upper house, lower house. Lower house is called as House of Commons. Upper house is called as House of Lords. Here the upper house, which is called as Rajya Sabha, representatives of the states are sitting in Rajya Sabha. Here no representatives of the states. Why? Because United Kingdom is exclusive centralized system. There is no states. But in India we have states and the states representatives are sitting in Rajya Sabha. Second difference. Third difference, Parliament is so very good. Parliament is sovereign there. In UK, Parliament is sovereign. What they told? Parliament have all the powers except a man, a woman, and a woman, a man. All the powers they have, means sovereign body. But Indian Parliament is not sovereign. What is sovereign in India? Constitution is sovereign. The Parliament cannot make all the laws in India, but there the Parliament can make all the laws. Means Parliament in UK is more powerful. Parliament in UK is more sovereign when compared to the Parliament in India. Next, anything more? Divergent points. There are some parliamentary proceedings which are different in both of them. For example, there is complete absence of 0 hour and question hour in UK. There is presence of 0 hour and question hour in India. More. Very good. Prime Minister should be compulsory from lower house. Where? In UK. But in India, the Prime Minister can be from lower house or upper house. Without being the member of any of the house, he can become the Prime Minister. I will tell you. Means, if I want to become the Prime Minister in India, I no need to be a Lok Sabha member, I no need to be a Rajya Sabha member. Means for 6 months without becoming member of any house also, I can become the Prime Minister. But within 6 months, I have to win the elections of Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha. But in British, to become a Prime Minister, first he should be an MP. To become a Prime Minister in UK, first he should be a MP of House of Commons, of lower houses. Then only he will be having eligibility to become the Prime Minister. But in India, not being a member of House of Commons, not being a member of House of Lords, or not being member of also, I can become the Prime Minister for how many months? 6 months. But within 6 months, I have to contest the elections of Lok Sabha, I have to contest the elections of Rajya Sabha, I have to win each of them. But 6 months without becoming member also, I can become Prime Minister. But in UK, first qualification to become the Prime Minister is he should be a member of Parliament of lower house, of House of Commons. Two houses are there. Same like in India, there is bicameralism, there also two houses, here also two houses. That is converging factor. There also two houses, here also two houses. There the House of People means House of Commons, which is lower house. In India, it is called as House of People or lower house or Lok Sabha, who will be directly elected, both of them. But in Britain, to become the Prime Minister, compulsory he should be a member of lower house. But in India or UK? In UK, compulsory he should be a member of Lok Sabha. In India, not being a member of Lok Sabha, not being a member of Rajya Sabha, not being member of any of the house for 6 months also, he can become the Prime Minister. For example, Manmohan Singh, never he was member of Lok Sabha. Manmohan Singh, never he was member of Lok Sabha. Never. Every time he was member of Rajya Sabha. Why? Because he don't have that much popularity. People are not ready to vote him. So what the Congress government did, as a representative of state where the member of MLAs of Congress are more, he used to represent from the state. So he became the Rajya Sabha member and became the Prime Minister. For some times he was not the member of Lok Sabha, he was not the member of Rajya Sabha, but still he became the Prime Minister for 6 months. These are the divergent points with respect to UK and India's parliamentary system. How did Buddhism help India spread Indian culture abroad? This history sir will teach tomorrow. He will discuss about it tomorrow. How Buddhism help India spread Indian culture abroad? How was Buddhism responsible? Buddhism ఎలా రెస్పాన్సిబుల్ ఇండియన్ కల్చర్ని బయటి కంట్రీస్కి పంపించడానికి బుద్ధిజం యొక్క రోల్ ఏంటి అన్నది ప్రశ్న. వాట్ ఈస్ ద రోల్ ఆఫ్ బుద్ధిజం ఇన్ స్ప్రెడ్డింగ్ ఇండియన్ కల్చర్ టు అబ్రాడ్? దట్ హిస్టరీ సార్ విల్ బి డిస్కసింగ్. థర్డ్ క్వశ్చన్ ఈస్, తో వీ హ్యావ్ కోఆపరేటివ్ ఫెడరలిజం. Though we have cooperative federalism in our constitution, we have been moving away from the idea in recent times. Illustrate current affair. We are federal. What is federalism? If there is a proper division of powers between the center and state is called as federalism. India is federal in nature but tilted towards strong center. India is federal in nature but tilted towards strong center. And we are having a cooperative federalism. What is cooperative federalism? The center and the state both come together. They cooperate together for the growth of center as well as the state. There is a harmony, there is a cohesion, there is a relationship between the center and the state. That is the beauty of Indian federalism, which can be named it as cooperative federalism. But in recent times, so first paragraph I will mention about what is cooperative federalism. In Indian constitution nowhere defined federalism, but however our nature itself is cooperative federalism. But it tilted towards unitary nature. But however we are having cooperative federalism. Then, but in recent times, number one, the bills made by the Kerala Assembly, the bills passed by the Telangana Assembly were been not signed or approved by the governors, which had creating rift between the center and the state. Why? Because the governor is agent of central government. One aspect. First aspect, there is a conflict between the governor and the state governments, which you noticed. It might be in Telangana, it might be in Kerala. In both the states, the governors are not at all signing. The governors are not at all giving signature for the bills which are passed in the assembly, state assembly. They are delaying getting permission from the central government. Why? Because opposition parties. Here there is a TRS party, there is Communist party. So the governor is not giving. So what will happen? Whether the bill will become an act? The bill is not becoming an act. So what is happening? The development is getting hampered. The welfare is getting hampered. The governance is becoming hampered. Number one. Number two, the central government is giving more funds to the states where the BJP government, no, don't use the name, but I am telling you. When the two governments are different in center and the states, the funds allocated to the state is less when compared to the governments when they are same in center and which is creating rift, which is a conflict between center and state. Second, more central government is frequently using president's rule. Central government is frequently using president's rule to suspend the state assembly, which is creating the rift between the center and the state. For example, 2014 president's rule was imposed in Punjab. which was unnecessary, but they imposed president's rule. They can avoid it, but they implemented president's rule. But that is not the case in Manipur. Manipur, ethnic conflicts is happening within the state, between the communities. Nearly 300 people were being killed according to the official records. According to unofficial record, nearly thousands of people killed. Lakhs of people displaced. But the central government didn't impose president's rule. Why? Center BJP, Manipur BJP. So it is creating no confidence among the states which are not having BJP government. Next. అంటే ఎక్కడైతే ప్రెసిడెన్స్ రూల్ ఇంపోజ్ చేయాలో అక్కడ ఇంపోజ్ చేయకుండా ఎక్కడైతే అవసరం లేదో అక్కడ ఇంపోజ్ చేస్తుంది. నెక్స్ట్, ఎనీ మోర్ రిఫ్ట్ బిట్వీన్ ద సెంటర్ అండ్ ద స్టేట్? వాట్ ఫార్ములా?
Formulas, for three formulas. It is a part of concurrent list, but there is no cooperation between them.
Concurrent list, Schedule 7 of the Constitution. The most important is GST Council. There is every time there is a conflict between the tax share, improper tax share. The state governments are claiming that we are losing the revenue. Improper tax revenue share between the state and the center. More any rift between the center and the state? Recently, current affair. Recently, West Bengal claimed that we don't want CBI's entry into West Bengal. Tamil Nadu also told that we don't have any consent, we don't want CBI to enter into the state issues. Why? Because they are tilted towards central government, they are not acting independently, hence we are not allowing the central institutions into state. This is creating rift between the center and the state. In West Bengal recently, on the borders with Bay of Bengal, on the borders with Bangladesh, 100 kilometers away from the Bangladesh, the border of Bangladesh, 100 kilometers inside the West Bengal, now the central government had imposed border security police force. The state government rejected them. You can stay in the border, but 100 kilometers inside we have our state police, we can take our law and order. Why you are entering into the state borders? Why you are entering into the state territories? That is another rift which is creating between the center and the state. Next, true, yes, 100%. In Kerala only it happened. Next, appointments. Appointments of governor itself. Intentionally they are appointing the governors who will be acting against the state assemblies and state governments. These are the places where there is rift between the center and the state, which is acting against cooperative federalism. Cooperative federalism is nothing but where the center and the state both are cooperating together for the safeguarding and for the improvement or for the targets of constitutional achievements. But what is happening? There is a rift between center and state. Third question. Conclusion is the center and state both should act with utmost care. Confidence need to be built between the center and the state, and the initiative should be taken by the central government. Why? Because central government is a big brother. In every family, big brother should take the initiative, not the small brother. So it's the responsibility of the central government to create confidence. Then we can reach the constitutional aspirations called as cooperative federalism. We can reach the constitutional aspiration called as cooperative federalism. Means structure nothing. First paragraph, what is cooperative federalism? Cooperative federalism क्या होता है? Then cooperative federalism features, characteristics, proper center-state relations, legislative functions between the center and the state, executive functions between the center and the state, financial functions between the center and the state should be according to the constitutional principles. But however, there is a rift, first, second, third, which I told you, those are all points with examples you have to write. And conclusion is, it is the responsibility of the central government to create a brotherly attitude, should create fraternity between the center and the state. Then we can achieve the constitutional target called as Abhishek, ठीक है? This is all rift. State cooperative federalism in India, we have separation of power, Article 131 of the Constitution, whereby Supreme Court exclusive jurisdiction to hear cases between the center and the states, sometimes coalition government, GST Council, revenue share, Niti Aayog, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. But there are challenges, center-state relation challenges are there. Interstate river water disputes also one of the factors. Strengthening of interstate councils. Discuss various features of Indian secularism. Mention various threats to secular democracy in India. Discuss various features of Indian secularism. Secularism, where state doesn't have any religion. There is complete absence of state religion, but state will be treating all the religions equally. India's secular principles is called as positive secular principles. Why? Because the state will not stop the religion, or state will not invite the religion. The state will be acting neutrally. The state will be acting neutral with all the religions. This is what Indian secularism, which is mentioned in our constitution under article 25, 26, 27, 28, which is also mentioned in the preamble under 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. This we will mention. Then we will go to the question. Various features of Indian secularism. Mention various threat to secular democracy. What are the positive concept? It is a part of basic structure. In Bombaya case, SR Bombaya case of 1994, the Supreme Court of India told secularism is a basic feature of Indian constitution, is a positive concept, basic feature of Indian constitution. In congruent power also very clearly told that religion is present in the congruent list, whereby both the center and the state can make laws. Liberal, tolerance, protection rights over religion, but there are some threats. There are some threats. What are the threats? Communalism, communal disharmony. Right examples. Muzaffarnagar riots, which happened in 2013. Muzaffarnagar riots. Muzaffarnagar riots, Uttar Pradesh, which happened in 2013. Kandhamal riots. Which happened between Kandhamal riots, which happened between Christians and Hindus. Muzaffarnagar riots, which happened between Hindus and Muslims. Gujarat riots, 2002. These are some of the examples of communalism. Politics and religion. Religion-based politics. There are political parties which run on religion. Representation of People's Act 1951 very clearly tells that any political party running the elections or politics on the name of religion is equivalent to corruption. But still, the political parties are running on the name of religion, which is politics and religion. See, for every quote we have to add one example. You can use the examples, 100% you can use the MIM, not BJP, exclusive BJP we cannot tell Hindutva party, MIM, Kerala Christian party which is there in Kerala, exclusive on the lines of religion. Religious intolerance, the people are intolerant towards another religion. Gujarat riots is because of intolerance towards another religion. Economic order, just economic order. See, when I am hungry and one person came near me and telling that you are hungry, because your food is being taken by that particular community people, I will get more angry. The person will become more angry. So the best solution is what? Development. The best solution is what? Economic growth. The best solution is what? Employment. People who will do conflict, you tell me, the person who is simply sitting at home, who doesn't have any work. Some people will be till 5 o'clock, they will sleep in the house, 5 o'clock they will go and walk here and there. They sit on the bikes and they talk. When they are walking, 5 to 8 o'clock they will sit. So simply they are sitting, so obviously they will come into the conflict. So what is the solution? Development, welfare, economic growth. When they have development, when they have economic growth, when they have employment, they will be not thinking about all these things. So solution is just economic order. So this is one reason why, because no proper economic order, no proper development. Limited interpretation of secularism. Limited interpretation of secularism. Hindutva Rashtra we want. Limited interpretation of secularism. The majority are Hindus, so obviously Hindus should come. Or MIM. Muslims, we are minorities. The constitution has been provided that minorities should be protected. So limited interpretation of secularism. Defective educational system. Defective education system. No education system have a unit called as communal harmony. Nowhere we have communal harmony. How to create communal harmony? How to procreate communal harmony? No unit, no syllabus, no NCERT book is talking about it. Defective educational system. These are the factors which are responsible for example, here you will write an example. National Education Policy 2020 also didn't discuss about communal harmony. National Education Policy 2020 also didn't discuss about communal harmony. Because of all these factors, what is under threat? Secularism. 6 points with examples you will write. Conclusion. What is the conclusion? The essence of secularism lies in accommodation of varied social groups and overcoming tendencies that disturb the social fabric of any society. In India, where differences exist in terms of different religions and cultures, secularism plays a crucial role. It is evident that Indian secularism, since ancient times, we are secular in nature. For example, in our ancient India, we have Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. In medieval India, we have Dini Ilahi. We have, we'll mention this, we have Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam in our ancient India. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam means all one family. And in medieval India we have Din-e-Ilahi. According to Akbar, all the religions are equal before the eyes of Sultan. So in our ancient India we have secular principles, in medieval India we have secular principles, hence in modern India also we have to continue this secular principles. Why? Because every culture is because of history. In our history we are secular. Like this you have to do practice. Headings only you have to remember. I told you the points. Now arrangement, see. First secularism paragraph, first paragraph, introduction. Secularism is one of the basic feature of Indian constitution which is mentioned in S.R. Mumbaiya case of 1994. Second paragraph. There are two varieties of secularism. One is positive concept of secularism, negative concept of secularism. Full stop. Next paragraph. Positive concept of secularism tells that state will be treating all the religions equally. State will not discriminate any religion. Next concept. Negative concept of secularism which is followed by European countries, whereby state will not involve in any religion. State will keep itself away from all the religions. But however, India follows positive concept of secularism means what? Means India will be involving in all the religions and treating all the religions equally. First part of the question has been completed. Discuss various features of, then various features. What are the various features you will be discussing now? It is equality, promotes equality, focus on harmony, room for religious reforms, protect rights over religion, tolerance will be developed, people will become liberal. These are all the things which are part of secularism. But however, there is threat to Indian secularism. These are the factors. Then solution, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the solution, Din-e-Ilahi is the solution. Conclusion. In this way you have to write your answer. If you write this answer, no, the questions will be 12.5 into 20 questions will be there, 250 marks will be there, 3 pages will be there for 12.5. In 3 pages if you write 2.5 is enough, 2.5 page if you write enough. 12.5 if you write a very good answer, there is a chance to get 60% or 50% to 60%. Means out of 250, 40% to 50. If you are crossing 100, means very big achievement. In your GS2, if you are crossing 100, 110, 120 means a very good achievement. In this way, fatafat, there will be no time. So only you have to remember what? Headings. So when you are making any notes for your GS, don't make fine notes. If you make fine notes means detailed notes. If you make fine notes means you are in the wrong track. You have to make only bullet points. What are the points? How Buddhism is responsible for spread of Indian culture into abroad. Write headings. We will remember only headings. Mains point of view I am telling. Prelims point of view in detail you have to search. You have to go deeper. Okay? So two questions for history will be discussed by history sir tomorrow. Today, now fundamental rights. Abhishek, okay? Now I will ask you one question. I explained one concept. I will ask you one question. You have to tell me how you are going to write. No problem. If it is mistake also, no problem. We will try. Okay? India is a democratic republic. What are the factors justifying India is a democratic republic? Two questions are there. India is a democratic republic, question mark. What are the evidences justifying India is a democratic republic? Tell me structure, points. Last. Quickly, louder. Just what is democratic republic? Question mark. Justify with evidence India is a democratic republic or not? That is my question. First you will write about democratic republic, or we can write like this. The basic structure of Indian constitution is democratic and republic. These are the two factors which are present in the preamble of our constitution. Yes or no? Then next paragraph. Small paragraphs you write. Don't write big paragraphs. 3-4 lines, one paragraph. 4-5 lines, one paragraph. Not more than 5 lines for one paragraph. Practice this. Then second, democratic sided. What is democratic? Third paragraph. What is republic? Example you will write democratic. 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act is the best example of democracy. Republic, head of the state is elected, presidential election is republic. Then you will write about. There are some countries who are not democratic and republic. For example, North Korea. There are developed countries like UK who are not republic. Why? Because head of the state is constitutional monarch. From the following evidences, I am coming to a conclusion that India is democratic and republic. But however, there are challenges like electoral frauds, freebies, cheating, caste-based politics, religion-based politics, whether people are freely voting or there are some influence. Sir, you didn't ask, no, you are right, challenges. If we overcome these challenges, then 100% India will be called as
Democratic.
so first democratic and republic I told what it is theoretical, but in practical there are some flaws. So I mentioned it as a challenges to democratic and republic. I mentioned challenges to democratic and republic. Then finally I am telling that if we overcome these challenges, then India can be fully called as, got it? Like that we have to develop then and there, introduction, conclusion, body, then and there we have to develop. For example, difference between parliamentary form, write about the parliamentary form of democracy and presidential form of democracy, question mark. What is best suitable for India? What is best suitable for Indian situation? You will write. There are two different formats of governments in the world. Two different famous or popular formats of governments in the world. One is parliamentary form of government, other is presidential form of government. Indian constitution has derived parliamentary form of democracy from British. We didn't accepted presidential form of government. Here we are going to understand the difference between the parliamentary form of government and presidential form of government. Parliamentary form of government, merits, demerits. Presidential form of governments, merits, demerits. Finally, our constitutional forefathers had envisioned accountability rather than stability. Our constitutional forefathers had envisioned what? Accountability rather than stability. Let it come any government. Let the government be changed every week. But we want what? Accountable. That 1 week we want accountability. We don't want stability. So why? Because we are amateurs in 1950. Why so? Why? Because we are amateurs. We are young democracy. At the time of independence, the literacy rate is 20%. The people don't know what is democracy. So we chosen parliamentary form of government. Like that we have to write the answer. I gave you keywords for GS, syllabus keywords which will be completed, Please keep that with you. Keep that with you, and very soon topic wise previous year's questions, mains and prelims will be given. Topic wise means subject topic wise. PYQs per mains and PYQs per prelims we are doing now. So we will be providing it. That also every day you have to carry. What type of questions they are asking, we should have an idea. When we have that idea, finish. Philosophical essay, why we did philosophical essay in the beginning? Some people got feared also. UPSC this much tough. One person at the verge of dropout. Sir, UPSC, philosophical essay. I don't know, philosophy is spelling only. You are teaching philosophy essays. Means we have to understand what type of questions they are asking. 250 marks. 250 marks, 2 essays. Earlier they used to ask social and economic essays. Now they are 100% asking only on philosophical essays. If you clear prelims, again you will have philosophical essays after clearing prelims. Second time, you have to, means just understanding what type of questions they are asking is also success. Okay, these are the type of questions, and today we will discuss about fundamental. We completed up to 22, right to freedom, association, these all we discussed up to article 22. Today we will discuss about right against exploitation. 2 articles are there, 23 and 24. 22, 23, 24. 23 and 24 are called as right against exploitation. 23 talks about against human trafficking, against bonded labor, against beggary. Article 24 against child labor. Article 23, Article 24 human trafficking, right against human trafficking. Article 23 of the Constitution. Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labor. There should not be any forced labor. Prohibition of trafficking. Trafficking means kidnap and selling. Buying and selling is called as trafficking. Constitution of India told there should be prohibition on human trafficking and forced labor, slavery, beggary. Beggary means beggar, we can tell it as beggar. Singular word. Plural word, beggary. Beggar means they will make him to work, but they will not give payment. That is called as beggar. He will do work, but they will not do payment, which is called as slavery. Prohibition of human trafficking and forced labor. Prohibits traffic in human beings, beggar, forced labor, and other similar forms of forced labor. Any contravention of this provision shall be an offence punishable law. It is available to citizens and non-citizens. I am telling you, don't buy heart which is available to citizens, which is not available to non-citizens. Don't buy heart, just understand. See, it might be a foreigner, it might be an Indian. Forced labor should not be there, no? It might be a foreigner, it might be Indian. Whether forced labor should be? it might be a foreigner, it might be Indian. Child labor should be. So obviously this is applicable to both. Equality of opportunities in public employment. Article 16. Equality of opportunities in public employment. Whether I have to give public employment for foreigner and Indian? Only Indian. Already we only doesn't have the jobs. How come we can give it to a foreigner? If we give also, why he will have that feeling? Why? Because he is, common sense we can tell, which are citizens, which are not citizens. Article 15. Discrimination on the grounds of place of birth. Discrimination on the grounds of place of birth. When citizen is there and foreigner is there, compulsory there should be a positive discrimination for a citizen. Why? Because he is Indian citizen. Place of birth. So, just by common sense, then and there we have to decide. We should not by heart it. Abolition of untouchability. It might be foreigner also. Abolition of untouchability should be there, yes or no? Inhumane treatment. He is a foreigner, Negro from Ethiopia. Untouchable, no. He is also human being. So, then and there we have to decide. So, Article 23 is applicable to both. Protects the individual against both state and private persons. Means here, understand this. Up to now, state. But this one, state also should not do human trafficking. Individuals also should not do human trafficking. If individual do human trafficking means it is violation of fundamental right. State, if it is doing it, obviously it is violation of fundamental right. So it is applicable to both state and individual. Article 23 and 24 applicable to both state and individuals. Means me, if I am doing trafficking, it's compulsory violation of that person's fundamental right. If I am the government, it is also violation of fundamental right. Applicable to both state as well as individual. Trafficking in human beings means what? Selling and buying of men, women and children like goods. Immoral trafficking in women and children including prostitutes, devadasis, slavery. There is a concept called as devadasi concept. Mainly prevailing in South India, whereby SC girl will be donated to the temple as the wife to the god. From her puberty stage, she will be donated to the god. And till she become old, she will be serving the god, she will be cleaning the temple premises, she will be giving sexual pleasure to the priest and upper caste of the village. A form of human trafficking. How? Not by money, but spiritually. Not by money, but how? Spiritually. A spiritual form of sexual exploitation is devadasi. A spiritual form of sexual exploitation is devadasi, spiritual form, slavery. So there is a beautiful act which is called as ITPA, Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act. The prostitution cases which happened in India comes under this particular act called as 1950C, Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act. The prostitute will be booked and the person who is the broker also will be booked, his name will be called as pimp. Both. Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act is a criminal offence. It is not a civil offence, it is a criminal offence. The pimp will be sent to the central jail and the prostitute will be sent to the rehabilitation center. Under which act? Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act. Parliament made this act to punish the above. Article 23 prohibits forced labour like bonded labour which compels one to work against his will and work without remuneration. Actions by government to prohibit forced labour. Bonded Labour Abolition Act of 1976, Minimum Wages Act of 1948, Contract Labour Act of 1970 and the Equal Remuneration Act of 1976 is ensuring what? Prohibition of traffic in human beings and forced labour. What are the laws made in order to ensure Article 23 is functioning properly is what? These are. A question will come like this. In order to ensure Article 23, what are the legislations made by the central government? Number 1, Immoral Trafficking Prevention Act, 1956. Number 2, Bonded Labour Abolition Act, 1976. Number 3, Minimum Wages Act, minimum wage you have to give. They will not work freely. Minimum Wages Act, Labour Act 1970 and Equal Remuneration Act. Equal Remuneration Act means who? Men and women. Equal Remuneration Act of, these all legislations made for what? To ensure Article 23 of the Constitution. Today also if you notice, if you go to Adda, we will call it as, where all the daily wages will come and stand. If you go to that particular place, a daily wager men will get 600 rupees, a daily wager woman will get 400 rupees. Both will work equally, same energy, same time. But he will be getting 600, she will be getting 400. Discrimination at the daily wager. So in order to ensure that, what is the act which is made by the government of India? Equal Remuneration Act. Then why it is not implemented? Why? Because informal sector, no. Then why they are getting, sir, you are only telling they are given 600, 400, then why it is not implemented? Because it is informal. The same work, the payment should be same. Equal Remuneration Act of 1971. Next act, prohibition of employment of children in factories, etc. Prohibition of employment of children in factories, in industries, Article 24 of the Constitution. 3 legislations were being made, which is called as Child Labour Prohibition Act of 1986, Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act of Amendment Act of 2016. With respect to child labour, 2 acts were being made. One is called as 1986 Act, other is called as 2016. Listen this. Child Labour Prohibition, Article 24 of the Constitution. So Constitution itself banned child labour. One more thing I will tell you, try to understand this. The articles present in the Constitution are skeleton. They are the not full body. It will not talk about complete sense. For example, see, we discussed about prohibition of human trafficking and slavery. Then eventually we made legislations or not. అంటే రాజ్యాంగంలో ఏది ఉందో అది జస్ట్ స్కెలిటన్ మాత్రమే. దాన్ని ఫుల్ఫిల్ చేయడానికి ఏం చేసాం మనము? రిలవెంట్ చట్టాలను చేసాం. ఆ రిలవెంట్ చట్టాలను చేయలేదనుకోండి, అది రాజ్యాంగంలో ఉన్నా కూడా వేస్ట్. ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ, Article 21 of the Constitution talks about, Article 21A talks about right to education, free and compulsory education to the children. It is present in the Constitution by which Constitutional Amendment Act? 86th Constitutional Amendment Act in the year 2002. 86th Constitutional Amendment Act was been made, by which Constitution got amended and article was added, which is called as Article 21A. But when it got implemented, tell me? It got implemented in the year 2009. I explained this when I was discussing 21A. 21A, free and compulsory education for every child who crosses 6 years up to 14 years. So 6 to 14 years, free and compulsory education is added to the Constitution as a fundamental right under Article 21A. That Constitution Amendment Act was made in the year 2002 and the number is 86. But when it got implemented, you know, it got implemented in the year 2009. Why? The relevant act was being made in the year, but the constitutional provision was added when? Are you getting my point? So Constitution is just a skeleton. Articles are just a skeleton. For example, abolition of untouchability is a skeleton. The relevant act is Protection of Civil Rights Act 1955. SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989. Without SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act 1989 and Protection of Civil Rights Act of 1955, abolition of untouchability is waste. Yes sir. అంటే ఆ చట్టం ఉంటేనే అది ఎలా ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయాలి, అందులో ఏమేమి ఉంటాయి, అది ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయడానికి గల కారణాలు ఏంటి, ఏ బాడీ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తుంది అనేది చట్టం రూపంలో ఉంటుంది. కానీ రాజ్యాంగంలో జస్ట్ ఏముంటుంది? మెన్షన్ మాత్రమే ఉంటుంది. ఇట్ విల్ బి జస్ట్ మెన్షన్డ్ ఇన్ ద కాన్స్టిట్యూషన్. But the complete body, complete structure, complete modalities will be present where? In the Act. See, in our original Constitution, it is mentioned that prohibition of child labour in factories. Which year? 1950 we got adopted. But when we made Act, you know, Child Labour Prohibition Act was made in the year 1986. Means from 1950 to 1986, the government was closing its eyes. It was present in the Constitution, but a legal act came in the year 1986. Means 36 years legally what continued? Child labour continued. Why? Because of present in the Constitution, it will not be enforced. For enforcement, what should be there? Law should be there. There is no law. Article 24 prohibits the employment of children below 14 years in any factory, mine or other hazardous activity. Doesn't prohibit employment in harmless works. However, later complete ban on child labour made by the government. By which act? Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Amendment Act. Means Constitution told 14 years and below. Here child means which age? 14 years according to this article. Whose age is below 14 years are not allowed to work in factories, mines. But below 14 years they can work. Below 14 years they can work under non-hazardous factories. See, doesn't prohibit employment in harmless, non-hazardous. However, later complete ban happened in the year. Means what? From 1950 to 1986, legal enforcement of, it might be 14 years below also, you can go and work in non-hazardous industry. Means you have to understand, the government apathy, government doesn't have any interest in eradicating Child labor. Then thanks to 1986, why? Because in 1986 we made an act called as Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act. Now what they did? 14 years they banned hazardous and non-hazardous till 14 years. But told above 14 years you can continue. Mean child is which age? 14 years. Then 1986, 1996, 2006, 2016, lot of criticism. Then in 2016 we came up with another act which is called a Child Labor Regulation and Prohibition Amendment Act 2016, which told that year is not 14, now they shifted to 18. 18 years and below. Complete ban on hazardous industries. Complete ban on hazardous industries. Means what? 18 years they can work in non-hazardous. And they also told 14 years complete ban. It can be hazardous or non-hazardous. Means if it is non-hazardous, 14 to 18 can work. If it is hazardous, 14 to 18 cannot work. And also told the people who are working in entertainment industry, the people who are working in family business, they have to work only after school hours. After 5 p.m. only they have to come to the workplace. It can be entertainment industry or it can be a family business like kirana shop, sitting on the counter. How many eggs? 10 eggs. One person will pack and give, no. After school hours. The Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act is the most important law, and several other laws were also made with this regard. 1996 Supreme Court directed the establishment of Child Labor Rehabilitation Welfare Fund. Understand this. Again, in 1986 we prohibited child labor, but we created alternative. In 1986, what is the act name called as? Child Labor Prohibition and Regulation Act 1986. We prohibited. We regulated. Whether we provided alternative, what is alternative means? Rehabilitation. There is no rehabilitation. At least if I am an old man and I have a son of 10 years, I cannot work, I cannot produce food. At least the baby 10 years child is going to a workplace, he is eating and he is bringing me some food. Now what you did? You prohibited. So now the boy is not getting the food, I am also not getting food. And you are thinking that you are very, very successful. Now I am dying because of starvation. So it's not only about prohibition, it is not only about regulation, it is about rehabilitation. So child labor, who are recruiting child as child labor, Supreme Court in 1996 told, we have to create a Child Labor Rehabilitation Fund. And this fund will be used for that family whom you stop to do child labor. See, stopping the child to work is a very good thing, but at the same time you should also give them rehabilitation. No? So Supreme Court envisioned it. Supreme Court thought that it's not only about regulation and prohibition, it is what? Rehabilitation. So who should give the money? Then the Supreme Court told, whoever recruits child as child labor, take money from them in the form of fine, penalty, and this money will be accumulated. This money will be under the control of Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court will release the money. To whom? Child labor family. It's a very good idea. That is called as Child Labor Rehabilitation Fund. Under whose control? Supreme Court control, 1996. Then also central government didn't came with an act. 2006, after 20 years, 1996, 2006, 2016, the central government came up with an act. In that they also discussed about rehabilitation. Means who is more proactive, whether Parliament or the Supreme Court? This can be an example for judicial activism. What is written in the book, everyone will write the same example. This can be an example. This is an activeness of Supreme Court. When the Parliament didn't open the eyes, who opened the eyes? But who should open the eyes? Parliament should. Why? Because Parliament is people's body. Parliament is people's body, not Supreme Court. Supreme Court is elders. Their duty is to just implement the constitution, that's it. Supreme Court directed the establishment of Child Labor Rehabilitation Welfare Fund. The offending employer should deposit a fine of rupees 20,000 for each child employed by him. Also issue directions for the improvement of education, health and nutrition of children. The Commission for Protection of Child Rights 2006, 2005 under Act, and the NCPCR. NCPCR came into existence in 2006 by an act enacted to provide for the establishment of National Commission and State Commission for Protection of Child Rights and Children's Rights. This particular Children's Court will be taking care about wherever the child labor is working, then they will go to where? NCPCR as well as Children's Court. Then in 2006, government banned employment, and anyone employing children below 14 years of age would be liable for prosecution and penal action. But a proper legislation is Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Amendment Act 2016, amended the Child Labour Prohibition and Regulation Act of 1986 and renamed as Child and Adolescent Labour Prohibition and Regulation Amendment Act of 1986. Means strict regulations were being applied from which year? 2016. See, when you are writing about this article without mentioning the legislations, your answer is incomplete. When you are mentioning about this article, if you are not mentioning about the relevant legislations, your answer is incomplete. When you are talking about right to information, when you talk about 86th Constitutional Amendment Act of 2002 and you are writing free and compulsory education is a fundamental right under Article 21A, without mentioning right to education Act of 2009, your answer is incomplete. So understand this, the articles are just skeletons. That skeleton will become powerful if there is muscle. The muscle is laws, legislations. From 2016, Abhishek, we discussed about these questions, right? Right to freedom of religion. 25, 26, 27, 28, together called as secular articles. 25. Right to freedom of religion. So what is 25 is telling that? Remember like this. Freedom of conscience, profession, practice and propagation of religion. CPPP, Central Government's Public-Private Partnership. Central Government's Public-Private Partnership. C, freedom of conscience and free profession. Here profession means not job. Profession means my belief. Free profession. Practice and propagation, spread of religion. Every citizen of the country, only citizen of the country, not foreigner. If not, foreigner will spread other religion. So this is only applicable to citizen. By common sense, that's it. If I allow it to a Thailand person, he will come and he will spread Buddhism. There is a chance of conflict. If I allow, then an American person or a London person can come and promote Christianity. There is a chance of conflict. If I allow, a Dubai man can come and spread Islam. There is a chance. If I allow, Nepal man can come and promote Hinduism. There is a chance. Every religion can be a conflict. So local people they can do, but foreigner should not do. Article 25 CPPP, freedom of conscience, free profession, practice and propagation of any religion of choice. Conscience, profession, practice, propagation. CPP, Central Government's Public-Private Partnership. Conscience, profession, practice, propagation. Article 25, all persons are equally entitled to freedom of conscience and the right to freely profess, practice and propagate religion. Its rights include freedom of conscience, profess, practice, propagate. Doesn't include right to convert another person to one's religion. It doesn't mean, propagate means what? I can spread, I can create awareness, yes. Constitutionally it is valid, but I cannot force, either by money or by force or by threatening. It is completely unconstitutional. But I can create awareness, means this religion is this, that's it. I should not tell that religion is that. This religion is this. I am good, it doesn't mean that you are bad. I am good, that's it. We should tell I am good, we are going to give this, but I am not going to criticize them. That is constitutionally valid. If I tell I am good, they are bad, means it is constitutionally invalid. Propagate, conversions. Here, current affair. What is the current affair? Love jihad. What is this love jihad? There is a concept whereby it can be an allegation, it can be an acquisition, or some section of people tell it's true, whereby basically it is a conflict between the two religions, Islam and Hinduism, whereby the Hindus of one section, of one community, of one state or one particular group of people accuse that Muslim men is trying to lure Hindu girls and getting them married to them. After marrying them, converting them into religion. Only for the sake of conversions, they are making a fake affair. That is the concept called as love jihad. In this context, we have to remember some laws which are made. For example, one law is enough, which is called as Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh forcible conversation. Uttar Pradesh forceful religious conversation act 2021. What it talks about? It talks about forceful religious conversion Act 2021. Conversion Act 2021, which talks about, according to right to article, any person from any community, from any religion can marry any person of any religion, any language, by choice, by both the choice. Why? Because right to marry, right to privacy, right to sexual orientation is a fundamental right under Article 21 of the Constitution. But if you marry a woman of another religion, and if you force, for which if there is evidence, if you force, for which if it is an evidence, then it is a criminal offence. Second thing which is present in Uttar Pradesh, when any person of another religion, when he is getting married to another religion, compulsory their marriage should happen in front of district magistrate. Both should go in front of the district collector, and the district collector will ask the girl whether you are happy to marry this Muslim boy. If she tells okay, then only the marriage will be accepted. These are the provisions which are present in this particular act. Two things. Number one, what? If out of choice, if religious conversion is happening, is a criminal offence. Number two, before marriage itself, they should confess in front of district magistrate. If both are positive, then she can get married. If she want to convert also, she can convert. Love jihad is a concept. These rights are subject to public order, morality, health and other provisions related to fundamental rights. State is permitted to regulate or restrict any economic, financial, political or other secular activity associated with religious practice. Provide for social welfare, reform or throw open Hindu religious institutions of a public character to all the classes and sections of Hindus. There are two things with respect to Article 25, that is wearing and carrying a kripan is allowed. Wearing and carrying a kripan, knife, small knife, with Sikhs is allowed. Again, the Constitution of India told that Hindus means not only Hindus, Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs. The Hindus are Sikh, Jains and Buddhists. Hindus means not just Hindus, Hindus is a combination of Sikh, Jains, Buddhists. Article 25 mainly talks about CPP. Consigns, profession, propagate, practice. Article 26. Freedom to manage religious affairs. Means I can participate in my religious activities. I can participate in my festivals. No one can stop me from practicing my religious affairs. I can manage my own religious affairs, like practicing in my religious activities, like playing crackers, like being rozar, following rozar. No one can stop me. If I am continuing rozar, no one can stop me. Why? Because it is my religious affairs, which is mentioned in the Article 26 of the Constitution. Every religious denomination or any of its sections shall have the following rights: right to establish and maintain institutions for religious and charitable purpose, right to manage its own affairs in matters of religion, right to own and acquire movable and immovable property, right to administer such property in accordance with law. Supreme Court held a religious denomination must satisfy three conditions. It should be a collection of individuals who have a system of beliefs which they regard as conducive to their spiritual well-being. It should have a common organization. It should be designated by a distinctive name. Mainly you have to understand this, that I have my right to manage my religious affairs. No one can deny. I can join any charitable organization. After joining any charitable organization of my religion, I can continue, I can be an active member, no one can stop. Not only being an active member, I can also propagate my religion. Article 26 of the Constitution. 25 CPP, 26 managing religious. Here comes this. What is the hijab issue? What happened? Mainly in Karnataka, BJP government, they lost the Karnataka elections. Why? Because they crossed limit. Anywhere, anytime, anybody, if they cross limit, obviously they have to fail. So same thing happened in Karnataka. What happened? In some of the government's colleges, the women who are wearing hijab were being not allowed inside the college, and the women of the community rejected. We will wear our hijab. It is part of our culture. It's our religious affairs. We can manage according to our wish. But the government colleges, some of the private colleges, we are autonomous bodies. We can make our own rules. And our rule is everyone are equal. There should not be discrimination. Why? Because if you wear hijab and come, other person will know that you belong to this particular religion. Hence, there is a chance of discrimination. Everyone should be equal. Everyone should look equal. Logic. Everyone should be same. Everyone should look same. The same thing will be applicable to Hindus also. They should not wear flowers, or they should not wear their traditional things like gungat or etc. Same thing will be applicable to the Muslims also. You should not come with hijab. Why? Because we want to treat everyone equally. We don't want to get understood that this person belongs to this religion. So everyone should look same. That is the argument of the colleges. Then the issue went up to High Court. Then the High Court of Karnataka told there is something, listen carefully, there is something called as every religion have essential practices. Every religion have essential practices. No person have the right to stop the essential practices. And wearing of the hijab not come under essential practices. Hence, not requirement of wearing hijab. So means what they created, they innovated a concept called as like basic structure constitution, they created a concept called as essential practice. So wearing a hijab is not a essential practice. If it's essential, you can, like Krippan. For whom? Sikh. They made it as what? Essential practice. Hence, he will carry the Krippan. Comb also. Comb also will be there, Krippan also will be there for Sikh person. But for the High Court of Karnataka told, this particular hijab is not coming under essential practice, hence you should not wear it. The court held that wearing the hijab is not essential practice, is not essential religious practice. It did not merit protection under Article 25 of the Constitution. Headscarf debate widens. Government PU college, PU means pre-university. Baindur bar student in hijab and saffron shovels from campus. Both saffron shovels also. Kondapur Junior College asked students in hijab and saffron shovels to leave. Declares holiday on Saturday. Muslim students of Bandrarkar College, Kundapur staged a protest in front of the college gate. Students of Kundapur Junior College denied entry for second consecutive day. 6 girls of Government PU College Udupi continued their protest outside the campus. Hence the issue went to the High Court, and High Court told that hijab is not an essential under Article 25 and 26. Religious affairs, managing religious affairs, CPVP. So what is now status? They should not wear hijab. Means if any administration, any management tells, if you want to come into the college, if you want to come into the school, please don't wear hijab, means they have to respect it. If the college management accepts, they can wear. Discretion is with management. Article 27. Freedom from taxation for promotion of a religion. I have my freedom. Freedom from taxation for promotion of a religion. I have freedom. I will give. I will not give you. Ganesh Chanda. How much? Not how much. Already I written. How much means once upon a time they used to. How much? Now they are not asking. They are only writing. At least 10 years back, you have to give according to your strength, or you give. But now not giving. Already written. Spend also. Written, the money is also spent. Now I am coming for audit. Freedom from taxation for a promotion of a religion. No person shall be compelled to pay any tax in the promotion or maintenance of any particular religion or religious. No one can. Violation of Article 27. This provision prohibits the state from favoring, patronizing and supporting one religion over the other. Means state should not give money, then you will get a doubt. State should not promote, state should not give any money, state should not take the tax on the name of religion. Sir, for Manas Sarovar Yatra, central government will be giving subsidy, sir, for Hajj pilgrimage. Your Thursday and Friday history class is not there. Why? Because Sir's parents went to Hajj, Mecca, so they are coming back on Thursday and Friday, so no history class for you. So they also went to Hajj, Mecca, Medina. Government will subsidy them. Then how, sir, then how the state is involving? State can involve, but should not discriminate. I will give for Hajj pilgrimage, I will give for Jerusalem, I will also give for Manas Sarovar. But I should not give only for Manas Sarovar. I should not give only for Hajj. I have to give all the religions. When I give equally, it is valid. If I discriminate anyone, then it is unconstitutional. Very good question. Listen, I understood. See, there is a department called as Department of Endowments. What happened? This is another current affair. Mainly Tamil Nadu people are against it. Masjids are not under the control of governments. Churches are not under the control of governments. They are under independent body. They have their own organizing body. Masjid will be having their own body like 10 members who will be elected by the local people, and they will be controlling the finances of that particular masjid. They will be doing the development. But what happens with respect to temples, there is an exclusive department of endowment, a government department will be there. The complete revenue got by the temple will be taken by the government, and the government will take this money and spend according to the wish of the government. In that context, what will happen? For example, 10 lakhs came per month, 1 crore came for 1 month. So 1 crore went to the government. What the government will do in that 1 lakh, they will use for other purposes. In from that 1 crore, they will give only 10 lakhs for that particular temple development. Whether that money is generated from that temple, you have to use only for this question is coming. When masjid people are using for the masjid development, when church people are using for church development, why only temples are under? This is another issue. 2021 previous question is whether we have to remove the control of temples from the government or not. Tell me the answer. Then why they are controlling? No, some temples will be there. They generate revenue like anything. Tanjavur temples, Tiruvannamalai temples. Mainly Tamil Nadu is forefront. Already case is pending in Supreme Court. Tirupati temple, huge revenue. So this revenue will be taken by the government and only 10% will be spent. They will tell that when the revenue is generated here, you have to use only for this purpose. If not, you want to develop for education, no? On the name of the temple only you open schools. Why you are using the money for government schools? You open schools on the name of the temple and you spend the money. Department of Endowment. Same question, huh? Your doubt, same doubt. This provision prohibits only levy of a tax and not a fee. What is the difference, sir? Special darshanam. That is what? Tax or fee? That is fee. Fee. Entry fee, that is. Lot of difference. Tax means compulsion, no. Fee, no, I will stand in line. Let it be 2 days. Yes, you can stand. No, I am very, very busy. I want 1000 rupees ticket. Chalo. My wish. But tax is compulsion. So the government cannot impose tax. Government can impose fee. Fee, I have a choice. Tax, no choice. Then who are you to tax me? Fees means my choice. No, I will stand. Let it be 3 days. Anyhow, free food is there while I am going. This provision prohibits only levy of tax and not fee. Thus, a fee can be levied on pilgrims to provide them some special services or safety measures like immediate darshanam. Also, a fee can be levied on religious endowments for meeting the regulation. Sometimes when money is not generated, then intentionally they will. Intentionally, like entry fee is there. No one will be there, entry fee will be there. And no one is there now. But still you have to pay. Let it be. I will worship from here only and I will go. Yes, this is another reason. This is a very big reason. See, poor person who came to a temple and you are taking entry fee, then what he will think? I will worship from here only. Some other places, example this is, some other places where there is no fee, where there is a welcome board is there, then obviously he will change his religion. Why? Because it is under Department of Endowments. Freedom from taxation for promotion of a religion. Freedom from attending religious instruction. Freedom from attending, go, come, sit. He will tell very good lecture, come, sit, no force. Some motivational people will be there, if you listen, finish. No religious instructions shall be provided in any educational institution, mainly in educational institutions, wholly maintained out of state funds. 3 things will be there. When completely funded by the state fund, like government schools, no religious instruction, you will get a doubt. Sir, Saraswati Puja will be done. Pledge in Saraswati Shishu Mandirs. Those are not funded by the government. They are called as aided schools. Some amount from central government, some amount from organization. If it is central government or state government. But exclusively from the state government or central government 100%, then no religious, understand this. If completely funded from the state, no religious instruction like IITs, IIMs, universities, completely funded by governments, no religious instructions. Aided schools will be there, partly from the government, partly from the organization, group, association, according to the wish of the association. See here. This provision shall not apply to an educational institution administered by the state, but established under any endowment or trust, requiring imparting of religious instruction in such institutions. So there are Article 23, understand this, very, very important prelims point of view. Number 1, wholly maintained by the state, not allowed. Complete prohibition, wholly maintained by the state, number 1. Number 2, administered by the state but established under an endowment or trust, religious instructions permitted. Endowment Act, like SV, Sri Venkateswara University, it's established by an endowment act, and it is clearly mentioned that the Sri Venkateswara University of Tirupati will be partly funded by Tirupati Balaji. Number 2, if it is established under an endowment or a trust, then there can be a religious instruction. Number 3, recognized by the state, permitted on voluntary basis. Means what? I will permit. Today I will permit Islam, tomorrow I will permit church, day after tomorrow I will permit temple, on voluntary basis. I will not discriminate again. Permitted when recognized by the state. Recognized by the state is different and funded by state is different, yes or no? We will see on the school boards, recognized by the state of Andhra Pradesh. There is certification. So in that certification also you can permit, but voluntarily. Your wish, not aggressively. Receiving aid from the state, permitted on voluntary basis. See, receiving aid means some amount, but majority will be from a association or a trust or a group. Then it will be promoted on voluntary basis. First one, wholly funded. Wholly funded, not permitted. Number 2, administered by the state but established by an act of trust or endowment, then permitted. Number 3, recognized, voluntary basis. Partly funded from state, allowed on voluntary basis. These are the 4 conditions. Article 28 of the Constitution. Educational religious instruction. 25 is what? CPPP. 26 is what? Managing religious affairs. 27 is what? Taxation. 28 is what? Religious instruction. Remember like this. 25 is CPP. 26 is religious affairs managing. 27 is taxation. 28 is religious instruction. See, Kendriya Vidyalaya, it will be in Sanskrit. Sanskrit is not Hinduism. Sanskrit is a language. Like Pali language, like Hindi language, like Telugu language. It's a language. But we equated Sanskrit with Hinduism. Hinduism is different and Sanskrit is different. For example, Buddhist written literature on which book? Which language? Pali language. Pali and Buddhism not one and the same. Sanskrit is also a language, but patronized by Hindu rulers. All the scriptures are written in Sanskrit language. All the books are written in English language. So whether I am an Englishman, this is Article 28 of the Constitution. What is 25? What is 26? Managing religious affairs. 27? 28? Again we will come. Article 14? Right to equality. 15? No discrimination. On the grounds of 5 grounds are there. What are the 5 grounds? Religion, race, caste, place of birth, one more, gender. 5 are there. 6, equality of opportunities in public employment. How many? Any are there or anything? Article 16, equality of opportunities in public employment. Article 17, abolition of untouchability. Article 18, abolition of titles. Article 19, Sasuma, speech and expression, association, assembly, movement, Sasuma, MRP, Sasuma MRP, residence and P for profession. Speech and expression, association, assembly, movement, residence and profession. Article 20, protection against arbitrary arrest. Protection against arbitrary arrest. Article 21, 21A, which Constitutional Amendment Act? Which year? Then 22, preventive detention. Preventive detention. 23, human trafficking. 24, child labor. 25, CPP, consigns, profession, propagate, practice. 26, managing religious affairs. 27, taxation. 28, 29 and 30. Last 2 are 29 and 30. Cultural, educational rights. Protection of interests of minorities. Any section of citizen residing in any part of the India having a distinct language, remember this, distinct language, distinct script, distinct culture of its own shall be right to conserve the same. So Article 29, how many contexts? 3 contexts. One is language, second is script, third is culture. So every individual of his language, of his script, of his culture can protect, shall protect, will protect under Article 29 of the Constitution. No citizen shall be denied admission into any educational institution maintained by the state or aided by the state funds on grounds only of religion, on grounds only of race, on grounds only of caste, on grounds only of language. When it is aided, funded by the state. Means every individual have the right to protect his language, script and culture. Culture means religion. protect both religious minorities and linguistic minorities. Remember that. Whenever we talk about minorities, two are called as minorities. Religious minorities, linguistic minorities. Two types of minorities are there in our constitution. One is called as religious minorities, other is called as linguistic minorities. Supreme Court held right to conserve the language includes right to agitate for protection of the language. The political speeches or premises made for the conservation of the language of a section of citizens does not amount of corrupt practice under Representation of People's Act of 1951. Understand this. If I tell the people who are speaking Sanskrit vote for me, we have to protect our language, we should fight for our language, it is not called as corruption. But if I tell Muslims, all Muslims vote for me, I am Muslim candidate, you all people should vote for me for the growth of Muslim religion, it is called as corruption. Representation of People's Act accepted, language can be promoted but not religion. Representation of People's Act calculated corruption to religion but not to language. So in the election times I can use language but not religion. It can be MIM, BJP, RSS. If they use, it comes under corruption, under Representation of People's Act. Immediately there will be disqualification of the person who used that. Hence the political speeches. Article 30, right of minorities to establish and administer educational institutions like Jamia Millia Islamia University in Delhi, Maulana Azad National Open University where? Gachibowli, Hyderabad, Christian College, Chennai, Banaras Hindu University in Banaras. So every religion, mainly minorities, have the right to protect and administer, conserve their religion of their educational institution. They can establish their own education. Why? If education is there, then they can protect and conserve their culture. They can protect and conserve their religion. They can protect and conserve their language. Why? Because it's an educational institution. Article 30 grants the following rights to both the religious: right to establish and administer educational institutions of their choice. In granting aid, the state shall not discriminate against any educational institution managed by a minority. Hey, yours is a Christian college, I will not give you recognition. No. It is violation of Article 30. Your Muslim college, I will not give you recognition. It is violation of Article 30. So government should not discriminate by not giving recognition. If you don't give, it is called as blatant violation of Article 30 of the Constitution, which is nothing but violation of fundamental right. Then aggrieved citizen can directly approach Supreme Court of India. Article 30 includes the right of minority to impart education to its children in its own language so that they can protect the language. Why this? So they can protect their culture, they can protect their religion, they can protect their language. Why? Because college is an institution. Educational institution is a place where we can develop the culture, we can develop the language, we can embed religion. But one thing is there, this judgment is very important. Supreme Court in 2007, in one of the judgment called as Secretary of Malankara Syrian Catholic College case, what the Supreme Court told is, see, Supreme Court very categorically told, yes, I am telling right to establish and administer minority educational institution. It doesn't mean that I am giving you privilege when compared to other colleges. No, I am not giving you privilege. In order to protect your religion, your culture, your language, I gave through constitution some benefit so that majority will not deny you permission. Why? Because majority want to promote their own religion, majority want to promote their own language. So there is a chance that majority might deny you recognition. So through constitution under Article 30, I told that no state will have the power to deny the recognition to the minority educational institution. It means that to protect and conserve your culture, I am giving Article 30 to you. It doesn't mean that I am giving you, you are not one person weak. I told, anytime, any doubt, you are weak, so you can call me. Every minute, sir, Catholic spelling, Syrian spelling what? Every minute. So then the Supreme Court is telling that I gave you preference. It doesn't mean that you are in special phase, you are weaker. So preference is there. It doesn't mean to misuse that power. It doesn't mean to misuse that provision. You are on par with everyone, but special focus will be there because you are a minority. Supreme Court given general principles related to establishment and administration of minority educational institution. The right to minority to establish and administer educational institutions include to choose its governing body, to appoint teaching staff and non-teaching staff, to admit eligible students and to set reasonable fee structure, to use its properties and assets for the benefit of the institution. Supreme Court delivered establishment administration of minority educational institutions so that they will work on par with other colleges. only to ensure equality with the majority and not intended to place the minorities in a more advantageous. Got my point? It doesn't mean that, it doesn't intend to give higher status to minorities, to make you in par with, you are weak, so I told you to call me any point, so that one day you will become equal with everyone. It doesn't mean that I am giving you special provision. I am giving you little bit till you get equal. This is Article 30 of the Article 29 what? Properly, clearly. Protection of interests of minorities. Protection of interests of minorities, mainly religious minorities and linguistic minorities. Protection of interests of minorities. Article 30, right to establish and administer educational institutions of minorities. Here minorities means both religious minorities and religious minorities. Article 29, right, protection of interests of minorities. Protection of interests of minorities is Article 29. Right to establish and administer educational institutions for minorities is Article 30 of the Constitution. Any doubts? Article 31 is repealed. In detail we will discuss tomorrow. And Article 32 is called as right to constitutional. We can modify your own words. Any doubts? Private institutions? Vaishnavate school. Vaishnavate schools, the question is, it's about Vaishnavate school or Islamic school. Funded by whom? Vaishnavites. Their choice. Fund is important. Funded by Vaishnavates, so they can promote only Vaishnavism. Islamic schools, you are talking about, no. For a majority also, fund is very important. From where the fund is coming, there they can promote their own culture, language, religion. Mufakamza college is there in Jubilee Hills. Mufakamza Engineering College, Mufakamza universities. They promote Islam. Why? Because funded by, see, there are some religious monuments like Saraswati Devi statue. Saraswati statues, it should not be there. Technically, constitutionally, it should not be there. But it is there. Technically, constitutionally, it should not be there. Why? Because no religious denominations. Why? Because funded by government. But it is there. In future, it will become an issue again. See, they will break coconuts, they will keep completely violation of constitution. Why? Because it's a government funded, recognized schools or colleges. They should not do. Technically, they should not do. Okay. It is investment. It is like investment. It's like Department of Endowment. So already a department. Through department it is doing. Through department it can do. See, today I create an endowment department for that temple and I start funding. Then there is a benefit of doubt. Only for Hindus. Only for Hindus. See, for your question, if that temple is developed, for example, the temple is earlier not part of Department of Endowment. Now I kept it under Department of Endowment and started funding. It creates benefit of doubt. From long back it is in the Department of Endowment. Now I am pumping money. No, it will not come. Why? Because I used the money earlier. It was part of Endowment Department earlier. So when I am getting revenue, you didn't question. When I am reinvesting, you are questioning, means it will not be valid. But today if I bring under the Department of Endowment and I pump money, then it is called as something benefit of doubt. But still, if it is under Department of Endowment, there will be through a law. Why? Because Department of Endowment Act is there. For every state, there will be a Department of Endowment Act. Why? Because endowment means temples. The temples will come under state list. So state government have the discretion. Masjids are not there. Churches are not there. Only endowments are there. So they have the right. No one can question. Supreme Court also cannot question. Why? Because it is there in the Schedule 7 of the Constitution under state list. Jobs in endowment department also, group 2 post though, sir. See, jobs in endowment department is secular. Like register, audit officer is secular, means everyone can compete. But some posts will be there like priest posts. Government will be appointing priest posts. That will be 100% communal. A Christian cannot become, a Muslim cannot become. Which one? The technical post, like priest. Priest also will get government salary. The priest cannot be secular. Priest will be communal. But the officers who are managing the affairs of temple, they will be secular. They can be a Muslim, there can be Christian, they can be anyone. Today's question, write down. What is the necessity? What is the necessity? What is the necessity? What is the necessity to add secular? What is the necessity to add the word secular in the preamble? What is the necessity to add the word secular in the preamble, question mark. There is a demand, question mark. There is a demand from various legal luminaries. There is a demand from various legal luminaries, like Subramanya Swamy, yes or no? Legal luminaries, to remove the word secular from the, to remove the word secular from the preamble, question mark. What is your stand? What is your stand? Question mark. Substantiate it. Yes or no, Abhishek? Abhinav, Kavya, already see, secular is added in between. Added in 1976 by 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act. It is not there in the original constitution. You added in the between, in middle. So you have to remove in the middle only. What comes in middle will go in middle only, no? So you have to remove it. What is your stand? Let it continue or you have to remove it? Give evidence with your stand. Thank you.